funny song.
You didn't
Supposed to be serious. Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. We have music. Hey. This is live too, man. This is happening so much. To the party. Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. There we go. There's. As you can see, it's our last show of 2018, and we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. We're gonna go jump right in. For all of you guys that are watching us, you get to see a little bit difference. We're dressed up. We'll go right with the person that's got the award for the best dress tonight, and just say hello to Mr. Tom.
Hello there. How's it going? That's my first award. Have you got a trophy or anything?
No, we'll save it now. We'll sing it. All right. All right, here we go. All right, guys. You weren't able to hear me. A lot of things going on right now. But let's just jump right in. Our question of the night.
You know what you got yourself into, man. You know what you got yourself into. Trying to bring your intro music.
Hey, turn the music down, please. Thank you. All right, there we go. Man, the production team's got something going on. All right, here we go. Now we can start. We jump in with the question as always. Big question of the night. Favorite memory from the Mexican Soccer Show 2018 season. So we start.
The music is still going.
How is the music playing? Is it going out? Is it done?
No, it's done. We got it.
Never play it again.
What just happened?
It's over.
Guys?
It's finally over.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Mexican Soccer Show. We'll see you guys next year.
What just happened? I'm so confused right now.
That was not part of the production.
Thank you,
all.
production team. You know, it's low budget, guys. Low budget. All right, here we go.
Adriana left.
She's like, I'm just done with it.
Adriana's kind of gone. All right, back to the question. Big.
Has actually just gone.
She's like, what am I a part of? Big question of the night. Favorite memory of the Mexican Soccer Show. All right, we'll start with Mr. Tom Marshall. What's your favorite memory of the Mexican Soccer Show, sir?
This year,
Yeah.
I think that song.
El Jarabe Tapatío.
That song then. No, I don't know. Go somewhere else first. This is the only one I haven't planned for. I promise.
Tom, you also didn't plan your outfit, man. That's
I did. Dressed as an elf because I don't have a black tie.
Before we start, I want to definitely let all the viewers know that Amy is joining us today, and she has a special guest. And since it's our award ceremony, the Andres Awardados, she was able to bring in a special guest. If you don't know, Amy, she's a hardworking mom. She's doing so many jobs and days. And today we asked her to come along, even though one of her son, I think Jack, is there. So
Other one. It's Ollie.
Sorry, it's Ollie. I just saw the back of the head.
Ollie, you want to say hi?
So say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
There it is.
Aww.
That automatically became my favorite moment of 2018. Amy, you're not the youngest on the show anymore. You got Ollie. But there you go. All right. So if you see Amy walking in out, sometimes mom duty and it calls. So we told her instead of missing the show because she take care of her little ones, they can come right in. So it's gonna be a fun show today. We'll say hi to Adriana, who left us after the Jarabe Tapatío. She's like, I'm out. Like, this is over. It's madness.
It was just too much for my computer to take. It was like, no, wait. You got the music and you got the ties and you got everything. It's just too much.
I want to say thank you for dressing up. You got your tie on, yes. Purple and black. There we go.
Yeah, very, very Halloweenish.
Nice. And we're going to say hi to Mr. Cesar Hernandez. Cesar, who went classy with no tie. And nice little blazer there.
You got to find
it's
the
like
right
a very
balance.
millennial thing.
Yeah, exactly. You can't go like full on Tom, but at the same time you can't go full Tom Marshall looking like some random guy that we just invited into the podcast.
What you think Tom Marshall looks like? And I have a couple characters from
my best dress.
The Dave Chappelle show.
It's the 8 Mile reference that somebody did on one of his tweets like a week ago. It inspired him.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, guys, like I said, it's gonna be a very fun show. You're gonna be stuck with us for a while. We're gonna go and talk about obviously the finals that happened over the weekend. America on both sides, the women's and the men's team. We'll talk all about that, the reactions from these guys, and then we're gonna jump into our Mexican soccer show, Andres Awardados. For those of you who don't know, I'm like, what are you talking about? There is an award ceremony that we're giving out. 14 to 15 different categories that you, the fans, voted over the weekend. We had some funny answers, but over 50 people voted, so we're able to give the awards out. Many different stuff. So we'll jump in, and we'll have a lot of fun. Ollie, say hello again. Say hi, Amy. So yeah, let's just jump right in. The final, guys. Cruz Azul. It's like the heading. Cruz Azul loses it, but America deserves the win, the better of both legs. A team that has had firepower all along, all throughout the year, and we're just kind of jumping right into that final, and then we'll go into the women's final. So, Tom, you were there at the game. You said already from the beginning it was a different type of atmosphere there at the Estadio Azteca with coming in. So tell us a little bit about the atmosphere going in, and then we'll just kind of jump in regarding your thoughts on the win.
No, yeah, it was. I mean, there's obviously a great atmosphere. Some complications in the way the tickets were distributed in the week, but when the day came, I don't know. It's just when fans go to the stadium and it's the second leg, and so one of the team's going to lift the trophy, and obviously, especially in this final, even more than most other finals, so much at stake. I mean, from the Club America side, winning that number 13, you're playing against your city rival, and then obviously from Cruz Azul, I mean, it's just the amount of anticipation for this game and for them potentially to win a title was incredible. And the shirts being sold outside saying Cruz Azul Campeón and Club America Campeón, it just showed how I don't know. Obviously, Cruz Azul fans were so desperate for this title, and when it didn't happen, I saw various Cruz Azul fans crying on the way out. So yeah, an absolutely great atmosphere. I did see some friction. I did see a little bit of fighting. I will say that, but I would say this. I mean, there's no segregation in that final. So you have two teams from the same city playing for a final. And I mean, you look at what happened in the Copa Libertadores a couple of weeks ago, where you're not even allowed to have away fans in the same stadium. Yeah. And you think that overall this was a really, really good atmosphere, and probably not the best game on the pitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're gonna talk about what actually happened on the pitch, because that wasn't that great. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere was it was quality. I would say, I don't know. I'd say probably a little bit less maybe than the Monterrey Tigres, because I think that was the first time they've ever played each other in the final, and that city is so passionate about the football. It's a smaller city, so I think it's more. I don't know. It's kind of more intense in a way. But yeah, on the field, it wasn't a great game. I mean, I thought Cruz Azul didn't show up. Everything that they've done throughout the season, the intensity that they've shown, to win the regular season and then to make the final. I don't think they came into the final really informed, but I mean, with Cruz Azul, you're guaranteed that at least they're going to be solid and intense. And I thought that they didn't show that, or they didn't show anything kind of going forward. It was a weird decision to play Cauruccio and Caraglio. Cauteruccio, together. I thought it kind of, I don't know, it made them look stale, predictable, and the only ball they were trying was into the front player. There was no Alvarado to kind of drop back and kind of link, the midfield to the attack and even the defense. And I thought that, they suffered because of that. But I think Club America, obviously, the Club America team has been more time in the making. I think it's kind of nearing its peak now, whereas Cruz Azul really have only been put together this season. I think Caixinha said 42% of the squad, Cruz Azul squad, were newcomers for this season. So I don't know. I mean, there's different ways of looking at it. It'd be interesting to hear what everyone thinks, but there's one way saying that Cruz Azul froze that they were terrible in that second leg, that they bottled it basically with the trophy within touching distance. They bottled it, or that basically they came up against a really good Club America, that there's still work to do, that this is only the beginning of a process, and they're going to be around at the top of the league and fighting for titles for a couple of years. That's, I think, the different ways of looking at Cruz Azul.
Yeah, I guess from my own perspective, though, as someone who wasn't really rooting for both sides, I was just pretty disappointed with what. I mean, I guess if you're rooting for defenses to do well, then that was quite a good series. If you knew some of the backstories, that was also good as well. But I don't know, for new Liga MX fans or new soccer fans, it wasn't exactly the most thrilling final to watch. I mean, I think as we mentioned, just Caixinha obviously made things a little bit more difficult for America in that first leg. The second leg, America stepped up a little bit, were a little bit more proactive, but I don't know. Maybe it was a little dumb for me to anticipate something a little bit more exciting, but I was a little let down by that series. I was like genuinely, as someone who I think maybe I was rooting for Cruz Azul a little bit more just because you want that curse to go away. But I think just looking at what happened on the field, I mean, yeah, you got to feel happy for someone like Edson Alvarez, who's really worthy of all that attention. It's just good to see him bounce back after the World Cup, and he was on Leah Keep's worst 11 of the World Cup, and now he's helping America win a title here. But at the same time, I just when I'm thinking back to this final, I'm not. Maybe it's because Cruz Azul didn't push away that curse, and then I'm just focusing on America. I mean, all that really what comes to mind for me is just I don't know how little disappointed that I was, other than those last like 30 or so minutes, or like last 45 minutes in that second leg.
I think it just has to go back on expectations of 2013, right? And expectations of the number one versus the number two. The Cruz Azul that we saw, beginning the Liguilla and in the semifinals. And I think it has to do with a lot of respect. And looking at that very first leg, when doing that prediction, I was like, there's not going to be that many score. They want to end it at, in the last leg, and just how careful Caixinha was. He said it after the press conference. If there's anybody to blame, it's him. And Tom kind of mentioned it, right? It was a 4-4-2 up there, but it felt like it was 4-4-1. Like they were missing a player. Those two guys up front weren't able to communicate at all. Caixinha, Cruz Azul stopped doing what Cruz Azul was doing all season.
Yeah.
And although they had that great defense, it was just it was. I don't know if it was a lot of respect towards Piojo, which I was kind of surprised. But even Piojo, we knew that's what Piojo does also. It's not super all firepower. And it kind of took away what a final would be, expectating what, of what happened in 2013 or the firepower that America had.
I think Caixinha wanted to nullify America. I think that was the plan, because I think player for player, America is better in terms of talent. And I think Caixinha is very much influenced by Mourinho. And you could see that in the first half. You can see that through the whole series. That Mourinho influence. Let's get the set pieces and working on kind of getting breaks like that. But I tell you what, with Herrera tactically, we talked a lot during the Juan Carlos Osorio reign about players playing in different positions, about the defending the aerial ball. Well, Cruz Azul played very direct throughout this series. Look what Herrera did for the second leg. He put in holding midfield Guido Rodriguez, who's a big guy, good in the air, and then he slotted Edson Alvarez next to him. And I thought that putting two players that are good in the air ahead of Valdez and Aguilera, who are also really good in the air, it basically nullified completely Cruz Azul, because they didn't have Alvarado who could kind of make plays happen, and so they were looking for that long ball over to Caraglio to kind of with his back to goal and bring others in, but they completely couldn't do it. They had absolutely nothing going forward, Cruz Azul. And I think, we've talked about Miguel Herrera quite a lot, but we have to give him credit for how he's turned around kind of his career now. Since the national team, he's been amazing. He was very good at Tijuana, although maybe not in the playoffs. And then, to come to Club America and to win the title again, and to go, one loss in 22 games. It's pretty phenomenal what Miguel Herrera's done. With this Club America team, and let's be honest, this isn't a Club America that have done what in previous eras like the 1980s, where they go out and they just spend loads of money and they bring in the best foreigners. I mean, they haven't actually gone out and bought massive names. They've been very intelligent about the transfer policy. That's not saying they've not spent anything either, but and they brought through players like Edson Alvarez and Diego Lainez. I mean, it's pretty impressive what Club America have done, and I'm sure we'll we'll talk about the women's side as well. But I mean, what a weekend for Las Águilas.
Exactly. Adriana, to you specifically, this mostly was a Cruz Azul that went to the Azteca, a Cruz Azul that was, the top team, a Cruz Azul who, before we said this, theirs to lose. This is the season, the curse and all that. Is it the same Cruz Azul, though? Because although they already won a championship with the Copa MX, this is a team that's got some players, that's got to fix a few things, that's got a coach, that's got a whole different mentality. It doesn't feel like that curse loss. I'm not a Cruz Azul fan, and I'm not an America fan, but to me, I was there going, oh, it's Cruz Azul again. Or, of course, Cruz Azul did it. That Cruz Azul, it didn't feel like it. Like, this is a different team. I feel like that at least curse is out, although it did happen. But ultimately, there's a lot of high hopes for Cruz Azul the next season.
I think that everyone was kind of optimistic seeing as how they did during the regular season, but I think they were overly cautious in the final. I mean, I remember Pedro Caixinha going to the press conference on media day and just telling Miguel Herrera, I know how you're going to play and I know how I'm going to play. He was so confident about how he was going to come out for these two games, and then his team didn't show it. It was just a different Cruz Azul. Yeah, very respectful to what he usually did during the season, but I think he overdid it. I think it wasn't a team that was taking advantage of Alvarado with his youth and his speed and everything we saw during the regular season. Elias Hernandez, who came in as the most amazing reinforcement for Cruz Azul this season. Marcone with the terrible mistake after Jesus Corona gave him the ball. I think it was Cruz Azul just being overly cautious, which they didn't have to do the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think it was I mean, I don't like records. I think that's something they have to work on for next season. But still, I think it was that message that maybe Pedro Caixinha, as Tom said, he was trying to build it up piece by piece, and they overdid it. I think they had to be a bit more aggressive. I think they had to risk a bit more. And then Miguel Herrera just outdid him. I think Edson Alvarez playing as a defensive midfielder was great. We saw him with both goals. And it was just a way to win Caixinha at his own game.
Amy, I go to you regarding the star status of Diego Lainez and Edson Alvarez, who not only Diego Lainez with 18 years old and playing at the final, but contributing to the final, because I think he had a shot before that was blocked, and just although he was subbed up, just an excellent game. But you saw him crying. You saw Edson Alvarez and what he's doing. The youngsters that we have towards there. I mean, to you, this America team, the best Liga MX, but also with the youngsters coming in, and then now obviously the Diego Lainez news, right?
Yeah, when I saw Diego Lainez crying, and then when I saw Edson Alvarez just being so happy, I tweeted it out. That's exactly what I thought of. I thought of him like after the Sweden match, so incredibly sad. Like I still have that memory in my head, just completely sad, just completely devastated by what he had done or he thought was basically like his fault. And for him to essentially redeem himself today or yesterday and end his 2018 that way, I thought it was great. I actually thought, not to discredit Edson, I thought Cruz Azul was like just caught sleeping on that second goal. Like I don't know what they were thinking. They just kind of just stopped defending, and then Edson was there to finish off that play. But I just thought it was great to see him. I thought it was great to see Lainez get the starts and then kind of show that he deserved those starts. And as an America fan, I am very, very happy that they won. So.
Oh,
no.
Really quick, we'll go into that back in the. We'll talk.
I thought this was a partisan show.
Only I can share. I mean, I'm a Leon fan, but it's
Tom is a Man City fan. Adriana is an America fan. I'm a fan. Okay.
Tom, Oribe Peralta. I gave him half of that goal, and it's like that's the Oribe that we know. That's the Oribe that we saw, for example, in the Olympics when he took that ball and he fought off of it. It didn't surprise you, but at the same time, it's like that play just embodies of what Oribe Peralta is. Always focused, ready to give 100%, coming out there and giving that energy, and then just. I mean, that's the vision that someone does that's played in a final before that has played so much in that game, looking for that, for that. And then obviously Edson get it off. And then ultimately, I also want to hear, and actually I'll go to Cesar about the mistake, but to you, Oribe Peralta kind of finishing off a season, it could be his last game, or ultimately he is. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, just with Peralta, those are the kind of like little sprints to tackle to win the ball back that you can do, 50 times and you won't, nothing will happen. You know what I mean? The player will just pass it sideways and nothing will happen. But that one time you nick the ball and it falls to your teammate and it's a goal. I mean, that is Oribe Peralta. That's what he gives you, and not just personally, but I think it rubs off on people around him as well.
I think that like that little movement there from like Oribe like taking the ball. I mean, I think that was like a perfect little example of how America was a little bit more proactive than Cruz Azul in this match, and I think that was a kind of like a perfect little embodiment of that. Edson Alvarez obviously with a perfectly timed shot there, but I think that was, I think if you're looking for like something that really signified what that match was there, or at least in the second like not the first leg, I think it was that little moment there, that little mistake from Corona, maybe making a little mistake there by passing it to Marcone losing the ball, and just America being more proactive. I think because that I think if something stands out to me from that second leg, it's just America taking more risks than Cruz Azul, and thanks to that, and thanks to Edson Alvarez having an incredible game, because let's also not forget that he had a very good defensive game too with his interceptions, and thanks to that they're the ones who are now lifting the title.
And you see that it was like, I honestly said this could be like 4-0 if it wasn't for Corona's like blocking. Like it was at one point, and we saw that's what happened, let's say, against Pumas, right? And not comparing them, but there's that firepower that America had, and Cruz Azul being the best defense, it wasn't showing it, because even before the goal was a run by Iolaines, and then after the goal, which I think it's mostly Corona's fault, even to throw it in there. I mean, you would have to be. It must have been such a precise pass, and then and then have so much confidence that your player is just gonna, with Oribe Peralta, with two players in front of him, is gonna try to go around. And I guess the awareness is something, but after that there was two other opportunities. I think people were just tweeting how America shouldn't let these opportunities go. That's what everybody was saying. We saw that it comes around. So America lifting the trophy. Piojo, saying that they've been working. He's not going anywhere. He's still got a year and a half in his contract. I tweeted out he should go somewhere else and go to Europe. I think somebody said,
can you imagine
England.
Piojo just showing up to La Liga somewhere? Imagine him he was doing.
Do you remember there was an online petition after Brazil to actually get him to coach? I think it was in England or something.
Yeah, no, it was an English national team. It was like a.
Oh yeah.
It was an English national team. Like why? 20 reasons. No, 20 reasons why Piojo would be the perfect manager. Number one, and then he would just.
Can we start a GoFundMe? Like we'll tell some it could be like a championship side and be like, no. Like there are millions of Mexican Americans who actually help pay for his salary just to see how this pans out. Like we'll all.
Well, there is
$5 each, just to see how this goes.
Well, there is a rumor since the Klaus joined LA Galaxy that supposedly he's of interest with LA Galaxy, and LA Galaxy fans are kind of on the fence right now. There's some people that literally I need him to coach the LA Galaxy, and then there's other people no, it's not.
Oh my God, Piojo coaching Zlatan. Oh my God.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, oh, I can't see him in LA all the time.
But that's the crazy thing about Piojo, and we've talked about it a lot on this show. Is just that if you don't follow Mexican soccer closely, you're just oh wow, he's this crazy guy. He's just crazy, insane character, yelling at people, getting in arguments, and that is still true. But underneath all that, he's made some really serious improvements since being fired from the Mexican national team. Tom talked about Tijuana there. I was really impressed by what he did with Tijuana. Yeah, he off the field he was a little bit weird. He got suspended once for a match and decided to run around the stadium, and fans thought they were loving all that. Once got thrown out of a game, and he sat with the fans, got an argument with the fan, and then even so after the first leg, he was arguing with the refs, and Caixinha was the one who pulled him away and had to calm him down. Caixinha could have been you know what, you got yourself in trouble, man. This is gonna help me in the second leg. Right. But Caixinha wasn't who calmed down and pulled him away. So you still get that part of Piojo, but underneath all that, he's made some serious improvements since his
he didn't hit anybody. He hasn't hit anybody for a while, so that's already an improvement. I was actually kind of cool to see Caixinha and Piojo so buddy, during the game, and kind of hey, calm down, and after the game, there's no drama. And then one thing I want to come up with is that no one is talking about, and I haven't seen this much. No one's talking about the refs, and no one's talking about VAR for this final. which, you know, it's like, oh, we have most horrible refs. Oh, we, you know, this final. It was not an eventful, for example, where there's drama on this type of final where everyone's it's Cruz Azul, but there wasn't anything controversial where, oh, the refs always, you know, favor, you know, Televisa, which is, you know, America, or it's always about the
It was
VAR and
such a
all that.
poor game. Like for 135 minutes, there was nothing to like.
There were in the first
There
leg,
was
there was a couple
nothing to
penalties. No,
do.
there's a couple penalties and I think handball that wasn't called.
Yeah,
On the first leg, but
first
it wasn't
one,
like
yeah, the
anything
first
anybody
leg,
was like, "Oh, you robbed us."
We had
Granted, there are no Cruz Azul fans out there crying.
I think we
for
even
it.
forgot that we had VAR. I mean, it was like, oh yeah, we have VAR. It was like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like light bulb moment. Like, oh,
That's a good
yeah.
thing that nobody was talking about. At least that comes out. But
We were all so worried about like this is gonna go to penalty kicks. I mean, no one's doing anything.
I really wanted Chuy Corona to score in like the 90th minute to like make.
We were all secretly rooting for that. I think even America fans were kind of waiting on it.
Yeah, Americans
Yeah.
are so bored. They're like, "When does Cruz Azul score so we can have some type of excitement?"
Yeah. I actually thought that America fans weren't as excited as I thought they would be. I mean, they were like, yeah, we won, but it was just like it was such a boring game. I mean, for like 135 minutes, it was just I don't even think they enjoyed it as much. I think they would have liked even Cruz Azul to score a goal to kind of get close, to actually see some danger like against Agustin Marchesín. They didn't see any, and they were like, oh yeah, we won. Okay, 13th championship.
All the Americanistas come out on Facebook, and all your family friends just show you their Americanista tattoo. You know, like already this morning is like, yeah, like I have an uncle that took a picture of America tattoo, Club America. I didn't know you had one. Bro.
Did you guys see that the Cruz Azul players had like a star written on their hands and stuff? They had like a tattoo on their hand. Did you guys see that?
Oh,
You had Caixinha, and they had like like on the palm of their hands, like on this side, they had like a star, and like I didn't see Caixinha's closely, but it looked like a Q. I thought it would be a 9 because of the championships, but it was like a Q. So that was like odd. Yeah, you can look up for the pictures. You can see them I think online.
All right, let's switch gear, and we'll obviously we talking a little bit more during our awards ceremony on you know, especially about the championship, Liga MX, about the year. But I want to switch gears to another. I mean, America having a great weekend. It was obviously the men's final. They won the championship. The women's, I think, wasn't it a sub 20 or sub 17 also won?
The U17 team won.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that the only team that didn't win championship for America was the U20 team, because that championship was won by Chivas. So yeah, America, we still somehow avoided you to have like the perfect semester.
Honestly, why are you bringing this up? Let's take a guess as to which team Adriana supports.
One of the questions was what does everybody root for? We all know we so root for Leon, so you can disclose it. We're not going to force anybody to disclose what team they root for. All right. On the women's side, which is again history's made that Leonardo Cuellar was looking for that first win for America Tigres, who from what I've known from listening to the podcast or our football podcast by these ladies, was the heavy favorite. 50-some thousand fans at the in Nuevo León, which was a really cool statistic over the weekend, and it still holds a record. It's like out of the 10 matches, like 6 or 5 of them, I think, are women's matches as far as attendance in the world in women's games. So that just kind of had me thinking of how cool would it be if just the world's turning on what Mexico's doing, especially as far as attendance, as far as what the league is doing. I know it's 2 years old, and hopefully we get in them. But for some reason, and actually, I'll divert my comment a little later. But so let's talk about the final. To you guys, Adriana and Amy, how you saw it, the history that was there. Now it's starting to get a little bit of rivalry, at least as far as institutions between America now, and kind of looking forward to what they're going to do for next year. So I'll let you guys take it and what you guys saw.
Well, yeah, we talked about this on our football podcast. Tigres was not favored. It was just like the only team that we could actually think could win the championship. I mean, they didn't lose a single match in the entire season, like regular season and Liguilla. They have really good players. They have national team players. They have Nayeli Rangel, who they brought in from Spain for the first season. They have Greta Espinosa, who used to play at Levante with Charlyn Corral. They have Cristina Ferral, who they brought in from France. Alison Gonzalez was one of the U17 team players. She was the leading goal scorer for the league, like for about half of the season with 7 or 8 goals. So it was a really, really strong team. It was odd to see America actually beating them at the first leg 2-0. And it was actually 2 mistakes by America with the younger players, unfortunately, that made Tigres tie the first game. And then the second game, we had all the things that we didn't see with the referees and in the men's final. Those happened in the women's final. That's where everything was going on. But still, it was great to see them go to penalty kicks. And America, despite having to fight off 11 Tigres players and 42,000 people at the Estadio Universitario, made it through. I think it's an advancement for the league to actually see a third team to be a champion. I thought Tigres was going to win, to be honest. But I really like the fact that America is the champion after 3 seasons, because Leonardo Cuellar came in. They took the project seriously, and it just shows that the teams that are actually investing in women's soccer are seeing the results semester after semester.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I mean, I said it from the very beginning. I thought Tigres was going to win it. Like, not without some trouble, but pretty easily. I didn't think that they were going to have that much of a hassle winning it. And when America scored the first 2 goals in the first leg, I was like, oh, okay, like that's different. I also just wanted them to have a good game at the Estadio Azteca. So for me, it was like a positive. But then when they started making those errors and Tigres was capitalizing on them, and, Lisbeth Valle scored the goal, I was like, okay, yeah, this is where, this is how it's supposed to go. This is how it's going to get interesting. Let's go into the second leg and let's see how Tigres does at home. I thought they were going to be, motivated. I thought they were going to see their errors and they were going to, come out strong, which they kind of did. I thought Lisbeth Valle was still making America's defense work a little bit when she was going and attacking in the second leg. But then America just came and scored, and I'm happy either way. Like I said, I was happy either way, because like you either were gonna get a 2-peat or you were gonna get a new one. But for America to come, win, and then as the visiting team, I thought was pretty cool. I was really surprised, obviously, to see Tigres lose, but I thought America did a great job. That obviously Cecilia Santiago is just an amazing goalkeeper. I thought she did incredible to end up basically winning it for her team. So I think it was great for America to win from the women's side, and then for the men's to win too. And I think it'll just be a good moment for Mexican football and for the women and the men to just kind of have this joint celebration and see where it goes for the women's side. Yeah.
It was really cool to see the men's celebrating. During the women's, and I think that room. That was just it was awesome, because you got to say, there's the support, and then from support, to give them the support. Okay, yeah, we're there. It's our institution. But seeing Uribe Peralta jumping around and kind of saying that, like, they're really, really genuinely happy for the women's on their side. Like, now it's more of a proud. Like, look what we're doing as an institution of America, and it gives fans being a part of it. When I start seeing, granted that the barras are negative most of the time and the violence on that, but kind of seeing that at the women's game, and then even at Tigres and their stadium, and just the support that's there, people are coming and saying these are our players, and if we start seeing fights at women's, like for the bleeding for the shirt like they do it, like, I know
let's not take it that far.
Don't take it that far. But I think I kind of see what he's trying to say, like almost, and I said this on the podcast, and I want to look for a different word, but I don't know how to say it, but almost like normal, like a normal game. It's not specifically a women's game. This is a normal game where things are going to happen. I said that for the America game, for the first leg at the Azteca, when America scored, you saw them cheering and you saw everybody getting hyped up as if it was a regular men's game or a regular men's final. And I saw that as a positive. I saw that like this is going to go somewhere positive, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I got a message on Twitter, direct message from a Swedish journalist yesterday, and basically saying, what's going on in the women's game? Can you forward me any articles? Because, it's attracting attention. 42,000, 51,000 last season for the final in Monterrey. I mean, this is the thing that all around the world, people are looking at Mexico and thinking, what is going on? People want an explanation. I mean, I think one thing they've done right and one thing that I think other leagues can copy and are doing in some instances, but that Mexico has done particularly well, is the fact that they're linked with the men's teams. You know what I mean? So like we were saying there, you had the America men's team celebrating the women's victory, but also from a fan point of view, I mean, you've got that sense of pride. You know, you look at Tigres and the investment that Tigres have put in, and you look at the fans responding to the shirt. You know what I mean? And they don't care if it's a men's or women's game. You know, they want their institution to. They've been brought up with an institution, and they want their institution to win. And I think that's one of the fundamental reasons why these teams have been able to garner support. You know, the Liga MX, the Mexican Federation, do a lot of things wrong. You know, we talk about it quite a lot. But I mean, what they've done with the Liga MX Femenil is, for me, by far the best thing that has happened in the Mexican game for years. You know, and there are so many positive signs now. I mean, it does feel like now it's not going anywhere, because right at the start it was like, I don't know, it was difficult. You know, there were certain stories going out that were negative, and it felt like it wasn't secure. But I think what we've seen in 2018 is that it's been, it's secure. And, you know, I just wanted to bring up one of the players, Nalia Vidrio, who's Manuel Vidrio's daughter. She's only like 15 or something, plays for Pachuca. On Instagram, 363,000 followers. And I mean, I'm not saying, oh yeah, she's an Instagram star, or whatever, but this is those are the type of, you know, creating those kind of people when she, you know, in a few years, I mean, she's going to be a star. I mean, and she's not the only one, you know what I mean? There's so many of these, women professional athletes now that are going to be able to go out there and make the money and make the way, you know, within the game. And I think, you know, the Liga MX Femenil is the platform for those kind of young Mexican girls, you know?
Yeah, and I think that was good to bring up. Like, I mean, just like, you forget how young these girls are too, and just to be able to play. I mean, just even if it was just like a friendly at the Azteca with like no one there, that would still be like a huge moment for so many professional soccer players to do that at that age with those in a league that's that young with that many fans there. I mean, just the mentality of that. I'm just extremely impressed by these girls who are doing it at that age. And
there's no way you can replicate.
Yeah.
What the Tigres and what the America players went through over that final. There's nothing you can do. There's no training you can do. There's nothing you can do. That penalty shootout, the pressure that's on you, you know, the fans behind the pitch. There's only really World Cups where you get that kind of intense pressure. And these Mexican players they're experiencing it. And when they do go, it's like going back to the Edson Alvarez thing where, you know, you pick up these bad experiences and you learn from them and you grow. And I think in for the future of the Mexican women's game, these experiences are absolutely invaluable, just unbelievable for these players to have in the locker.
And my thoughts I think you got to give even more credit to a side like America, because, I mean, imagine they had the 2-0 lead in the first leg, and then they allowed those 2 goals. They scored the first goal in the second leg, and then they allowed the equalizer. And to like have that, like, once again, so the mentality, just the pressure of everyone around you to begin with, and to have the lead in both legs, and to have to bounce back, and to also have to do well at the penalties. It's just extremely impressive. It's extremely impressive what they did.
Yeah, and going back to what Tom was saying about, you know, one thing that they definitely got right, and I've talked about it with a lot of people, is, you know, keeping the jersey the same or keeping the team name the exact same thing. I saw some people, and it might just be, you know, because of the exposure and the hype that's surrounding it because it's America and but a lot of people were talking about the fact that the NWSL, you know, still separates the teams in that way. That, you know, you have different names and different, and you know, just different kind of feeling between the two teams. And it's a long way, in my opinion, it's a long way before, you know, the women's national team, you know, gets to the same level as the U.S. women's national team. But when you say like positive investments like this happening, it makes it like it might be a long ways away, but it's not as far away as we think it is when you have positive steps for the women's Mexican league going like this.
Well, it all comes down to more women, more girls, more young girls getting the opportunity to play and getting the opportunity to experience things like the finale, and that's what's happening. I mean, the reason why the women's on the U.S. side are the best in the world is because they've been playing soccer since the 70s and 80s and 90s in college. You know, and what happened, and that's where the best women's college was playing in the 80s or 90s, and you have those you know those coaches that are playing, and you give them that. I mean, we celebrate when with those players. And I'm thinking, can you imagine if Liga MX femenil all of a sudden, they in the next 2 years, I know they're going to, obviously they open the doors for, if it's Mexican Americans, and then 2 years from now, they start putting money in and they get the best women players playing in that league. If you think about what's the best women's league, think about Europe, but why couldn't it be something like the Liga MX Femenil, attracting U.S. players that don't want to go across the pond and maybe going into these institutions where they're going to play 50,000 people in a final and having the best, those type of players. It would bring obviously competitions, and I know extranjeros will come into play, and we're trying to make it better, but as far as the league and saying that the Liga MX Femenil not only has the best crowds, but some of the best players in the world, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I guess it's
agree. Also coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also coaches. I mean,
start there.
Imagine a couple of top quality American, Canadian coaches coming down. I don't know. Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, we'll see that. All right, guys. Well, America, congratulations, America fans. You can continue 13 for you. 1 on the lady side, and yes, this is another 6 months of Americanista saying that they're the best team ever in the history. Well, at least you deserve it for winning in this, and you have that. I already have many people texting out. We'll see. We're gonna switch gears into our award ceremony that we have.
Yeah.
You can all see that we're all kind of dressed up. This is the portion where if you have a drink, go ahead.
Here's the issues. I poured myself a drink for the show, but I already finished it. So
I got my.
It's already gone. My bad, guys.
Brahma cup ready to go. So this is a 2014 beer from Brazil. It's still there in there since almost 5 years ago.
It looks like a Yahtzee cup or something.
It is. Totally we'll see that. This is from the Croatia-Mexico match. So we got that. This is something that we came up about 2 years, and we took a break. We're like, you know what? Last year it just didn't happen. We're bringing it back. So the Andres Awardados. Thank you. Credit to the name to Cesar for that, and because it's hilarious. But what it is you know what? We're gonna have Amy. Amy, you go ahead and explain how our awards ceremony is gonna go by today and what we have.
Yes, so to start it off, we're going to be for all those that voted, thank you so much. Most of you guys followed directions correctly. I'm so proud of you. There's a few people in there that thought they were funny. It's okay, we have our moments. But we're going to start off with the Liga MX categories, and then we'll go ahead and get into the general Mexican soccer categories. Now, I'm the only one that knows the answers, so we'll introduce them, and then I just want to see everybody's reactions when I.
You have so much power right now, Amy.
Yeah.
Amy does have so much power because we might not know. What if all of a sudden it's like Coach of the Year, Piojo,
Amy could just
Player of the Year,
I could very well just decide to do
Goalie of the Year.
Are you scratching out answers, Amy? I could see that.
No, I swear I have tallies. I made sure that I got these all.
You can always demand a recount. By the way, guys, you have one. You can always.
We like recounts over here in Mexico. Yeah.
All right, for some of you guys,
it's gonna be a little odd when Amy wins midfielder of the year. That's.
I'm a striker now. I switched over about 2 years ago. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen that are on the chat, if you're listening to us right now, get to the chat so we can hear. As far as your votes. So I know Lou, Eldan the Man, Ivan, Chicken Biscuit, Francisco, in good company.
Chicken Biscuit.
This guy named Chicken Biscuit. This guy named Chicken Biscuit. Go ahead. Once we announce it, give us your prediction if you didn't vote, right? And then Amy, it'd be kind of funny to tell us after the winner, what kind of responses you got.
Oh my God, I am
and
so
even
ready
the
for
funny
that
responses, because I'm sure you got some pretty funny responses that we have.
I'm so ready.
David Copeland Laredo is also saying hello, and even saying that Chicken Biscuit is a legend. So we'll go ahead and start. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Andres Awardados are about to start with the very first category, the Liga MX category, right? We're going with Liga MX primero?
Yes.
Offensive Player of the Year award. And Offensive Player of the Year, who do you, I don't know why, but I'm going with popular. I think people would want to go with Diego Lainez or something. What do you guys think?
Roberto Alvarado, maybe. I know all the hype with Cruz Azul.
Oh, so it wasn't the most
When was the-
offensive player of the year. Okay.
Yeah, offensive player of the year. You got any guesses, guys?
Well, it's gonna be Gignac, isn't it?
I've
So
got Gignac.
doing well. Yeah, it's gonna be Gignac.
I've
Yeah.
got Forge. It's Forge. That's my vote.
I've got Gignac because he scored most goals. And yeah,
Everyone likes him, Tom. Say it. Everyone likes him.
Everyone loves Gignac.
I'm going with the fans. So, all right.
But to be fair to with Cesar, with Furch, if you combine the goals and assists throughout the whole year, Furch is number one with 29.
And he also has a championship this year in the league. So
Oh, so
Yeah.
This is who we think should be, not necessarily the fans are going to think. So these are two different answers.
I'd
All
still, if you to say, give me one, attacking player in this league, which one do you want? For one season, not as a kind of development
Gignac.
project for kind of 2-3 years.
Gignac.
I say, give me Gignac.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
almost a guarantee.
It is.
Caraglio.
Caraglio. Henry Martin. Okay,
Renteria.
Oriol Peralta.
Give me one of those Atlas strikers.
Give me those Atlas strikers.
There is a,
One
I
of those
was gonna say,
injured ones.
Can we ring a bell every time shade is thrown? Can we just ring a bell?
I'm just gonna say it. I might cry, but I want Boselli.
What a breakout that was. I couldn't understand it, me. I can't believe that fallout.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, for Liga MX Offensive Player of the Year, we have Gignac.
Ah, boo.
Yay.
Come on.
Bombero,
I really thought you guys were going like-
Gignac.
It was supposed to be Forge.
Forge was second. Forge had the second most votes, followed by Diego Lainez. We had a Boselli shout out in there, Pizarro, Marez, and Elias.
Oh
Also
wow,
good.
Pizarro got a
Elias,
shout out.
Oh.
Oh no.
Sorry. Production team, we don't need more music. Okay, bring it back. All right,
Turn it
second
off.
one, Liga MX Defender of the Year. All right, Defender of the Year. What do you guys think?
Bruno Valdez.
Pablo Aguilar.
Yeah,
Pablo. I've
yeah,
got Pablo as well.
I'm gonna go with Pablo. Mr.
Although,
Jimenez.
Bruno Valdez as well, let's say, from America, has had a really,
Gato
really good
Dominguez.
season. Hey, Cato Dominguez,
Gato
yeah,
Dominguez.
possibly.
Well, Bruno's definitely a good shout there. Like Bruno is definitely, I think he would be my number 2 option there. But I think it just has to be Pablo Aguilar, just because he was incredible with Cholos in early 2018.
I
Alright,
want to be a Smurf Daddy too.
Is everybody ready?
Go for it, Amy.
Okay, your Liga MX Defender of the Year is Bruno Valdez.
Yes.
Oh,
Bruno Val-
interesting.
Other people, the close second was Edson Alvarez, followed by Aguilar. Then we had Alaya. Somebody said Salcido.
Ayala.
We had Juninho, Jorge Sanchez, Dominguez with an I at the end, Marez, and then Van Renken.
When we're taking too long,
Oh my god.
the music starts.
How,
It's like,
don't we have like 14 awards?
We still
all
have
right,
that's
Liga,
the
no,
question.
there's a time. It's when they're
Turn
telling
off
us
the music.
that they're going around again. All right, Liga MX Midfielder of the Year. Oh, it's gotta be Cruz Azul. Came from Leon. I'm just going with my boy. What do you guys think?
Guido Rodriguez is mine.
I vote for the music to be turned off.
I'm going with Guido Rodriguez because I've been a big fan of him since he showed up to Tijuana, and I think he's the best defensive midfielder in the league. And then after that, maybe Marcone. After that,
I was gonna
I
say
don't know.
Marcone.
Victor Guzman.
I'll go with
deserves a little bit of
Marcone.
shout there, but yeah.
All right.
Everybody, Tom, did you say?
Yeah, I've gone for Guido Rodriguez as well. Yeah, he's been so key to America. In America, I think they're probably we'll get onto the award, but the best team for me over the 12 months. So, and he's been such a key figure, so consistent. 24 years old. I mean, if you talk about players that have got the potential to move to Europe, then I don't know. I mean, is Guido Rodriguez possibly the number one if you were to pick one player from this league to make an impact in Europe. I don't know.
No.
I mean,
I already got the call to Argentina before. So.
yeah. I mean, he's a good player.
All right, you ready?
Who's
Ready? Ready? Your Liga MX midfielder of the year is Victor Guzman.
Oh, there's a lot of Mexican national team fans out there.
Roberto Alvarado was, oh my God. Roberto Alvarado was a close second. Followed by Diego Lainez, Elias Hernandez, Pizarro, Celso Ortiz, Montaño, Mares, Aguirre, and Guido Rodriguez.
I really thought people would just vote for Diego Lainez for everything, so just gonna throw it out there.
Oh, he was in some of them, not all of them, but
Okay.
some of them.
All right. This is for Adriana. There we go. All right, Liga MX goalie of the year. This is before the final, right? Because it closed.
Actually, some people the polling closed at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so this was after.
So I would think Chuy Corona would get, you know.
This
So,
this one was tough because you would think it would be Chuy Corona, but at the same time, he didn't exactly have a strong start to 2018. Maybe Marchesín? I don't know.
Marchesín
For me,
I'll go with Marchesín. It's gonna be Marchesín.
We got Tom.
Marchesín as well. Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. Are you gonna play the music? No? Not this time? Oh my God! Not your music, please no!
Do we have the rights to the song? Are we about to get sued?
No, it's okay because we're not doing any copy. We're not doing any. We're not doing it for monetary reasons.
No, I wanted the drum roll music.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Drum roll music.
Go, go, go.
All right.
Marchesín!
Of course.
Okay. Speeding along.
This is by far the weirdest Mexican soccer show we've ever.
You're never gonna be
Ever.
You're never gonna be producer. ever again.
All right, guys. Liga MX Coach of the Year.
Wait, I didn't even get to say who the other
okay.
people
Sorry. Go
were.
ahead. Who are the other people?
Thank you so much. Second was Chuy Corona. After that was Barovero, Hernandez, and Gudiño.
Wow.
All right.
Same again. Sorry.
Was Chuy Corona, Barovero, Hernandez.
Was Marchesín was it even close with Chuy?
No. It was Marchesín by a long shot.
No, yeah, he's had I don't know. He's had a good season, hasn't he? And last night, actually, in the stadium, the Cruz Azul have got a little kind of sound they put on the speaker system, and all the America fans were going, "Marchesín."
Did it sound like this? Go ahead.
Something like that. But yeah, no, but he's so popular with the America fans as well, and he's such a presence, and he's not afraid to go to the press and say stuff. I mean, he's slightly crazy as well, so the usual goalkeeper.
I actually thought Salivar would have a chance if it weren't for the 6-1 loss against America, because he had he beat all the penalty kicks. He got all the penalty kicks.
He could have had the best season ever, and then what happened in that?
Pretty well.
He had three
not
bad.
to win. Yeah, but he ruined the season in 20 minutes. But
Three
before
goals.
that, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Oh my
So
God.
we have the coach of the year.
I just love how annoyed Amy's getting.
The coach of the year. I think Amy's on kid duty, but on the coach of the year, we have. Oh wait, no, she's back.
Stop playing music, please.
It was an intermission because they were gone. Go ahead, Amy. We got the coach of the year. Who do you guys think?
I think Amy's gonna leave in a minute.
Yeah, if you push Amy out, we won't get to know any of the answers, and we'll just have
He's
to
gonna
guess.
throw everything, all the answer, yeah, whatever.
All right. Amy, you didn't email me the answers, huh? So it's got to be all you. Go for it. All right, coach of the year. What do you guys think?
Piojo seems-
Caixinha.
Yeah,
I'll go with
sorry.
Caixinha.
By the way, Ivan Pina says that I got cumbia, so he's happy. Caixinha.
I'll go with Caixinha, yeah.
Okay.
But to be
Piojo.
honest, I mean, Patiño made like a really like
Oh my gosh.
regular
No,
season
Adriana is not.
like.
Pumas is not going to win anything.
But don't you think like he did really well despite like the squad?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, he did.
I mean,
He
even,
did.
even Pumas fans were surprised. I mean, they didn't think so highly of the team.
It's not the most. It's not. Yeah, I guess. Okay.
No, I think it's I think it's a decent show.
Ojitos
Because
Mesa.
we usually go for the coach who. What did he say?
Ojitos Mesa.
That's the biggest. Ojitos Mesa. That's my good buddy Francisco from the Show's podcast. Don't listen to what he's saying. He's the biggest Ojitos Mesa fan out there.
And third place could have been like Puente Junior, because let's face it, no one thought Querétaro would make it through the liguilla.
Yeah. There we go.
But still, I'll go with Caixinha.
Cardoso.
I've gone with Piojo.
I'm gonna go with Piojo. I'm
I
gonna
go
go
with
with
Piojo
Piojo.
as well, and I think there are a lot of America fans out there, so he probably got it.
Que nadie se quede sentado porque será multado. Y vámonos con los car que ya remanga la empújala.
Amy's gonna have nightmares.
I'm the only one with the answers.
Go for it. All right. Go ahead, give us the answer.
Amy's face is priceless.
You thought you were gonna see our reactions on our face. It actually was a reaction on your face.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Caixinha.
Oh,
By a land.
By a landslide.
Stop. Can you
Yeah.
tell him to stop?
Stop.
Okay. Ollie said stop.
It's actually by a landslide. That Caixinha won.
I reckon
And
most people probably voted before the second leg, though.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
All right.
And then it was Tuca, Diego Alonso, Hernandez,
Oh yeah, we
and,
forgot about Tuca.
and then Ruben Romano. Those are other people that were in the.
Romano.
I mean, if he's there, then I should be up there too. For what I've done with football, man.
did he have 2 weeks at Atlas this year, or?
If the fan that voted for Ruben Romano is present, please let us know who you are.
I mean, Romano might be.
We want to
listening-
give you a shout out.
He might be listening to the Mexican soccer shows. Like, you know what? If these media people talking about it, I might be able to get a job afterwards.
I feel a bit sorry for him, honestly. Like, I went to Argentina for the Mexico-Argentina games, and he's just there. He's there, like, watching training. Then on the Azteca pitch last night, he's just there. I don't know why he's there, you know what I mean? He just kind of shows up in places.
You're like,
I think he's just, like, showing his face to try and get, like, a job, to be honest. I feel a bit sorry for him.
trying to get exposure.
I want to look like Ruben Romano when I grow older. Like, he's like a cool guy.
I do
Like
not.
with a
want to
hoarse voice.
It's like hard pass.
I
Oh,
wanna
He'd
wear
go
a
like,
shirt,
Cesar, let us know who you voted for.
Be like, Papito Perron. All right, amigos, that was Liga MX Coach of the Year. Now we got the best Liga MX teams, and it's the men's. So I wonder what if it's the best team. Are you voting for your own team? The best thing that you thought. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I would think this is before a lot of people voted before the final, so maybe I would think Cruz Azul. What do you guys think?
I think it's Cruz Azul because they, the finalists of the regular season, and they have the Copa MX title too. So I think that's not a bad 2018. Obviously, everybody would have wished, or a lot of fans would have wished they would have won the league title. But I don't know. I think that's not that bad to be a finalist and in the regular season or in the playoffs, and then also have a Copa MX title the same year. So I don't know. I'll go Cruz Azul.
I'd put Cruz Azul 3.
Yeah.
I think they've had a decent season, decent year, and obviously it was a letdown the final. But I'd put Santos Laguna at 2 because at the end of the day they won the title. It was highly unexpected, and then they followed it up by reaching the playoffs again. So I think you got to class that as a very good year for Santos Laguna. But then America, for me, they finished both regular seasons in second place. They reached the semi-final of the Clausura, and they've won the Apertura. So I think for me, it has to be America. I mean, the way they've ended the season, it's 17 games undefeated. I mean, that is a monumental run to the title. I mean, you can't argue against that. It's not like you kind of had luck to get there. It's like you've been exceptionally good exactly at the right time, and it just feels like Herrera's built his team, just been building to this the Apertura title, and so I think for me, without any doubt, Club America.
I'm gonna vote for Cruz Azul.
Yeah, I think that's where I kind of voted for Cruz Azul also. I mean, in as far as a team, and then I'm looking at to see as there's a lot of fans that are voting before that final, and so I'm gonna go with making Cruz Azul. And we'll also talk about who we think the women's, and we'll do both of them right now, reviewing as soon as Amy comes back. But as far as women's side, I mean, I would think America, no? I mean, or as what people would be voting because of the winning that title.
I think for me, it has to be Tigres, just because they were the champion, the Clausura, and then the runner-up in the Apertura. And I think that's pretty impressive right there by itself.
Yeah, and they were unbeaten, so yeah, I think it's Tigres for the women's side. I think just a matter of fact, just reaching the final, getting against Monterrey nonetheless, and then against America with the unbeaten streak until the last minute. I think it's going to be Tigres for the women's side. And regarding the men's side on Cruz Azul, I just think that many fans are also they appreciate all the restructure that they had with Peláez. They had the good reinforcements. For the first time in who knows how many tournaments, they actually had all their players before the season started. And I like the fact that they're going to go back to the Estadio Azteca. I think they appreciate that the project was different than other seasons. So I think it'll be Cruz Azul for the men's side.
Okay.
All right. So, Amy, we're doing the Liga MX Team of the Year. America, Cruz Azul. I think most of us said Cruz Azul. Who wins it?
For the men's?
Yes.
And for the men, America! With the close. It was close, though. It was really close. It was really close. Cruz Azul was in second for this one, so.
How did we end up with reggaeton or something? That's not even like.
You guys weren't liking the other, so I went. The producers are saying we're changing it up within music, so we'll go with that. All right.
Rage Against the Machine next, please.
Just switch it up a little bit.
I'm down. All right. As far as did we lose Amy coming back?
I think she's gone.
It's the music.
She just keeps coming back.
Oh my God, she left us.
She's like, I'm out. Forget it on this. Again, these were open from Thursday all the way to Sunday. So if all the fans didn't,
I think they were starting to regret voting for Cruz Azul. It was like probably that point of saying, yeah, maybe not Cruz Azul anymore.
No, we saw that.
It might have been just like safe to be like voting for America, I guess.
All right. Well, as soon as she comes back, we'll get to the women's side. But the next award was the Young Mexican Player of the Award, and this is overall Mexican soccer category. So not necessarily Liga MX. Young Mexican Player Award announced, and we'll go ahead and announce the winner. So we got of the year, I guess U20. It's got to be under 20 as far as young. So
Diego
maybe
Lainez.
that's 21.
Diego Lainez. Still Diego Lainez.
Yeah, Diego Lainez.
Lainez is my vote. That's definitely the young player there for me.
I've gone Alvarado.
Alvarado is definitely up there as well. I think honestly, I think you could go either way with both. I think you could make an argument for both Alvarado.
All right, I'll make my case for Alvarado. You know, he's had a really good season for Necaxa. Firstly, you know, he's great with a really key figure of that attack, and they did quite well, didn't they, Necaxa last season? Or they did okay. And then he's moved to a big club like Cruz Azul. You know, big transfer, and he's just absolutely slotted in. And not only just slotted in, but he's kind of shone. You know, he showed himself to be absolutely up to the task as a 20-year-old, a 19, 20-year-old of making an impact for one of Liga MX's biggest clubs. And really, Cruz Azul spent a lot of money in players, and he's looked like one of the best ones in the squad. Obviously, Lainez, you know, what you're going to say negatively about him, but the only thing I would say, he hasn't nailed down that starting spot until later on in the season, whereas Alvarado is almost like the team was not built around him, but he's been such a key figure that I'd give it. That's why I'd give it Alvarado above Lainez. But obviously, he's got a couple of years on Lainez as well.
And if you think about the final, I mean, Alvarado didn't do well at all, and Lainez on the opposite end, he did pretty well. I think he was we all were hoping for him to be actually a bit more help the off more, I guess. I think, but I think just say this is the final, just get too nervous, like probably disappointed with the final. Linus was like no matter Awardados go, but the team in America and then the senior team in America, and hopefully they were saying Europe would be soon. So I think Linus would still get a bit more credit, probably because of the age as well.
Yeah. Adriana, quick question on Linus. What's the latest on the Ajax link?
Well, we actually found that the Dutch media looked also into what Ajax was looking into, and it's apparently high on the list of priorities. Nothing is set yet, but they do say that that Ajax had looked at him, that it's something they're looking into, and they're just looking into like money-wise if they can actually make the transfer. But we also saw Miguel Herrera talking today about whether it would be actually good for his career to go to Europe just right now. I mean, he's been 18. He only won his starting spot at America this season. So Miguel Herrera wasn't too keen on supporting him to go, which is totally understandable, I guess, because of his age. I mean, he could stay at America another year or so. But we also criticize Mexican players for being too comfortable in the Mexican league. So it might just be a good opportunity for him to take advantage of the Dutch league being this league that we know that actually prepares young players, and try to get other clubs to look into him for future years.
I would have no problem or doubt saying that Linus can succeed in the Dutch league. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I just think, it's not that much different than the Mexican league. I just think he'll be exposed to different coaching methods. You know, a club obviously that is known for producing players, that he went through a period of not producing too many, but once again, it looks like Ajax is back producing top players. And just everything I've seen from Linus off the field has been positive. He gives you the impression that he's just completely at ease with what he's going through. You know, he doesn't look flustered in any way. You know, I asked him before the final, like, how do you know, as such a young person, you've got the rumors of Europe, you're playing in the Azteca, you're playing this big final, like, how do you deal with it? And he was like, you know, this is what I like doing. You know, all I'm doing is what I like doing. You know, it's such a refreshing kind of outlook. You know what I mean? To think that, you know, everything else is, you know, what it is, but I like playing football. And it was noticeable after when they won the trophy. We went on the field at the end, and you know, he took time out with his family, and he took pictures one by one with his family, and then all of them together: his mum, his dad, his brother, I think his brother's girlfriend, and you know, it was just, he clearly is very, you know, family orientated as well. And I think that if he does move to the Netherlands, for example, I assume that, like what happened with Chicharito, that his family would also go, and I think that would also be, I don't know, he just seems like his background's pretty strong as well. And a lot of the times with young players, and especially, you know, talented young players who are projected to go a long way, you know, a lot of the time the family background can be absolutely really vital.
Yeah. And his story, right? I mean, we'll go back to the words, but just kind of the storyline, the fact that he was there at the final, watching the final in 2013, in the stands, and I mean, you know, young players, if you have anybody or know anybody, it's like, you know, there he is watching it, and then there he is playing and making a difference in that final. If, you know, 5 years later, it's awesome to see that those kind of stories and how young he is, and we'll see. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking more when the actual news comes up, and it gets there. But it looks like I even heard, you know, cifras of being, you know,
like the highest paid Mexican player ever. Yeah, I heard that too.
Univision coming out with some stuff like that, with the highest paid Mexican player ever. Don't know.
I just hope it's not the family pressuring, like getting these rumors out to actually pressure the club to let him go. I just hope it's not that, because we've known that to happen as well.
I think it'd be the agent rather than the family. But my only concern about Ajax is how they're going to pay for him, because
that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, this is a kid now. It goes back to the old Mexican market thing, but I think Linus is a player who actually goes outside the Mexican market, because I don't think any other Mexican club could afford him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like a Pizarro, who, you know, a very good talent, a top talent, but I think Linus is beyond that, and you get to that, you know, that Chicharito level where it's kind of like you're above the Mexican market, and I think that's where the European clubs obviously come into play. But if you're beyond the Mexican market, you'd be beyond a lot of the middle kind of European market as well. I mean, I think Irving Lozano, when he went to PSV, you know, I think Pachuca basically, you know, they gave in a little bit. You know, they kept a percentage of the sell-on fee, and also, you know, they gave in a little bit and to the players' demands. And I'm wondering if Club America will do something similar. I'm pretty sure they'll be keeping as high a percentage as they can for the sell-on fee in case, you know, he does in what 5 years or something, you know, go for 60, 70 million to you know a really big club.
Well, it could be
Which
he's
he's capable of.
Could be like a Gutierrez like situation, right? So PSV qualified for the Champions League, they got a little bit of money. I mean, they probably got a little bit of money there for qualifying for the knockout round, right? So maybe perhaps
Can he play in the knockout round?
Yeah,
If
he
he
can.
comes
Yeah.
in, right? He can, right? That was a
They're
question I
allowed
was
to.
going to get
Ajax are allowed to register 3 new players by February 1st. So he could potentially face Real Madrid in February. That's
But
actually.
if Chucky goes to Real Madrid, he can't play.
Yeah, well, yeah, he already took part in the group stage, but I think that's a rule they want to change next year. But yeah, but technically, yeah, he if he were to go to Ajax over the winter, and if Ajax were to make that decision, he could act and register him
Ajax.
before February. He could actually play against Real Madrid.
Just think of the soap.
Oh, that's something I thought of too. Like when I first started learning about like international soccer, it's like
Ajax.
I'm
The
like,
thing
"Hey,
my mom uses.
Ajax?
Don't use that soap. Use an Ajax. All right, Amy, you're back. Liga MX team on the women's side. I think Tigres. We said America. Any surprise in there, or do we get any other teams before you announce it?
Tigres.
Yay.
America was a close second, and then the other team that anybody mentioned was Chivas.
Good for you, Chivas fans.
All right, we were talking about the overall Mexican soccer category, the Young Mexican Player of the Year.
Wait, did we
everybody
forget
said,
young? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and we said Diego Lainez, and then but Tom did say might be Roberto Alvarado.
Diego Lainez with literally every single guess except 2. One went to Emily Alvarado, and the other one went to Chucky because people don't know how to read.
Because it did say U20, so
It was the same guy that put Rubén Romano.
all right. Now we get to the fun ones. Best official English language team accounts. Now for this category, there's only 4 Mexican official English language team accounts, right? Of the Mexican League. Just trying to get there.
Sorry, I'm already thinking about the other.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Club America, even though our friends on the Santos we have great communication with them, but I feel that the Club America English account, all of a sudden this year, the way they're tweeting, the content, like the gifts that they're making, it feels like they're speaking our language. As far as that.
Shout out to America for, because I'm also rooting for this one too. Shout out for them hiring Ted Brooks. I think he had I think he had some history working with the Philadelphia Union before getting the job with America, and he is just killing it. I mean, he's just like, and not only the concept, but also the photography too. I mean, just the way it's all presented, he's doing an incredible job. Yeah, so I think it has to be Club America. I mean, but yeah, Santos obviously doing a good job.
Can they all win? Because they're making such a great effort.
It's true.
Cholos could do a little
Everybody's a winner.
Cesar says Cholos could do a little better. Cholos, step up your game. I would have to say close second, Santos. So keep doing just an amazing job and the communication that we have there. But I would go for the newbie that came in.
What about the national team?
What about them?
Yeah. I don't think they're in my top.
Hey?
I was gonna say I don't think they're in my top. A little work a little better on those.
There's only 4. No? There's only 4 official accounts, no?
5 with the Mexican national team, right?
No, but America, Santos, Tijuana, the national team.
No, Cholos.
Yeah.
He said
America, Santos, Cholos, and the national team.
We could give a shout out to we have fan accounts that are actually tweeting in English. I got a follow from Tigres English accounts, I think today.
Oh, we have a category for them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Cool.
No,
All right,
but
so what's your,
just a quick one on America. I just think for me it's the tone. You know what I mean? I think it's it's
Yeah,
the
like
nail
the
on the head with the
voice.
tone. It's like it's cool. You know what I mean? It's like
personality.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's kind of thrown out there. It's not being really politically correct. Not politically correct. That's
It's
the
not
wrong
like a
word.
regular
But
all right,
English
it's not.
language
Let's
account.
just say
It's a
it's
little
not
bit edgy.
translated.
You're doing
yeah,
a good
it's
job.
not translated.
It's not. Let's come down to it. We can see, and I think it's hard. The Mexican, teams have to have somebody that speaks the language that is going to read it instead of just being translated. And and you see that already. And we feel like sometimes the Mexican national team account, it's we know that who's either running or using needs a little bit more on the language and the lingo that people on Twitter or on Facebook talk about. It's not so literal. So I
I
think
need
that's
someone
what we
like
go
me just to work out some phrases. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
down with the youth. You know what I mean?
But not.
That's
But
what I'm
not.
thinking.
Not trying so hard.
Down with the youth.
Down with the youth. All right, Amy, who wins?
I love the idea of Tom saying down with the youth with that beanie on.
America wins.
All right, America wins. Give it up. Ted Brooks, if you guys should definitely follow Ted Brooks on Twitter. He's a great guy, and he has great content on there too. So we'll have that. All right, continuing.
Can I say that? Wait, can I say that? Can I say the?
Oh yes, give us the other ones. Give us the other ones.
Okay, other suggestions people gave in the answers was Cholos, Chivas, who doesn't have one.
Doesn't have one. Is that the same guy that did the other one?
Yeah, exactly.
Just that one guy.
There's this one guy that keeps
Flip
voting.
Max Nation got a shout out. So
Hey!
Wait
All
a second.
right.
somebody wrote Pornhub.
Wait, they have a fan account?
No. They have a hashtag Liga MX English fan account.
And Atlas is always featured.
Santos and then Tigres English, but I think they meant the other people.
No,
They meant someone else.
The porn account is what kills me. Nice. All right. We'll go with the best Liga MX English fan account. So, explain this one, Amy.
Yeah, so this is basically kind of what Adriana said, like unofficial accounts, but that are run by fans in English, giving us content for the teams, doing a really great job of it. And then it was whatever anybody submitted. So I can't wait to give the non-answers of this one too, but what do you guys think for the actual answer?
I'll go with Puebla. I know they have a fan account. I think they're doing pretty well considering Puebla's not like in the spotlight usually.
That's
and
actually
seeing
run by Francisco from the Cholos podcast. Yeah.
I'll go with Puebla. Yeah.
I've got the same as Cesar.
The Stray Goat. Yeah.
Stray Goat.
Yeah, man.
What a legend. Love the Stray Goat.
Cesar writes the Stray Goat?
That's me. I'm actually Stray Goat, and I'm actually at Luis Basket. Sometimes I'm at Azteca Amelia.
No, but it's still good old Stray Goat. I mean, he does cross the line a little bit. He's not always kind of like PC.
Dude, when that guy's depressed, you know it.
Yeah.
Well,
He's just like you basically go on, Cesar, go on.
I'll say back in the day when it was like 7 of us talking to each other on Twitter, like about like Mexican soccer. Like he was like I don't know, like there at that point too. Like it's not like some guy who just showed up recently. So he's been there since like the very beginning of just like Liga MX English Twitter. It continues to be pretty funny and make me laugh the most. So definitely the Stray Goat.
Yeah, I used to love the goal pics of like after the Chivas games are just like the mood. You just find a picture of a goal. Like, I don't know.
Nice.
I'm a simple guy, you know what I mean? Simple pleasures.
All right, Amy, who wins?
The Eagle Eye podcast.
I was gonna say the Eagle Eye podcast.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I guess
Aside
definitely.
from the Eagle Eye.
I guess
Those
I
guys
guess
did a really good job.
I guess
They've
we're
done
talking
amazing.
about like
Congratulations. I know that they're listening to us right now, so congratulations. I will be accepting the award on your honor since you couldn't be here today. But congratulations.
I guess we had 2 separate like fan account like categories. We had one just like fan account that makes me laugh, Strago. If we had a fan account that like keeps us extremely well informed, yeah, probably it would actually be
The
the
Eagle.
iPod. They
Yeah,
do
great job on the Eagle Eye podcast. Really, really. There's
Other notable mentions were the Puebla account, Viva Liga MX.
Yeah.
the Viva Liga MX. Okay.
I got a shout out. Gotti got a shout out. Naive got a shout out. Pumas got a shout out. El Dan the Man got a shout out.
El Dan
Cholos
the Man!
Podcast got a shout out.
I'll give a shout out to Paradero Boys as well, the Atlas one, because I mean those guys.
You gotta have a real heart to keep going with that one.
No, I mean they work really hard at
Go
it.
until
They
the
get
end with the
information
Atlas.
out, and they're reporting on what goes out in the local press and putting together the graphics and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It takes a lot of work. We saw as well, no?
Yeah.
Running your own website and social media accounts is not an easy thing to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, no, definitely, guys. I mean, all the fan accounts that are out there, especially in English, from the last 2 years that just brought up, from all the podcasts that are coming out. One of the things is, keep on doing it. Not to get what we've been doing, but Mexican Soccer Show. If you look on it on Google, like 2009, is when the very beginnings of the Mexican Soccer Show. And it's just keep on going, because the minute that you don't, somebody else either does it or that voice isn't heard. So if you are out there with a fan account, or you have an idea of a fan account, we succeed when everybody's talking in English on it. So congratulations all of you guys that have said that. Shout out to El Dan the Man, a great story if you haven't heard. Has a cool little blog from another side of the world, and he's usually on the podcast. Lots of people that we met who are not necessarily tied into Mexico, or watching a game one day, and then love what we are doing. So lots of cool fan accounts now that we're seeing, and lots of kind of funny accounts. Yeah, the Straight Goat that's out there. I can think of some other ones that are there that we have. So cool.
Other people that were mentioned were Flip Mex Nation again, John Arnold, Rob Schneider.
Hey, Rob Schneider, maybe like last year. He was funny.
John's
He was
a
always
journalist
vegan and
as well.
stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's what. Yeah, John Arnold's not a fan.
I'm gonna tweet at him now. It's hilarious.
and then Tom Harrison too was also given a shout out in that.
Yeah, definitely. Tom Harrison doing a great job on all the games and the coverage that's there. So awesome. All right, moving on.
Oh my god.
You got Mex
Andres Awardados.
with the best coach.
I'm gonna put a poll up right now. Should Weasel stop playing the music? Go ahead.
This is a Mexican song. He says Uruapan Mexican song. Uruapan Mexican song. You'll
Turn it
always
off.
forever hear that.
We still have categories to go through.
Okay, all right. We got best coach of the year. Best coach of the year.
Oh wait, not yet, right?
Oh no! Wait, what are you?
Production, guys.
This is overall coach of the year.
Yeah, this is overall coach of the year.
But
Okay, I might change mine up then.
so like, okay.
Change mine up.
So it doesn't
Okay.
matter necessarily Liga MX. It could be anything.
My coach of the year, Veronica Vergara.
Yeah.
What did I say, Veronica? Monica.
Monica, yeah.
My Veronica.
What did I say, Veronica? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Monica Vergara for what she's done with the under-17s, but not just that, just the way she's presented herself, and I don't know. I think she's become kind of a. The women's team has obviously had a male coach for so many years, and I think Monica Vergara is kind of, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. She's presented herself well. She's obviously very good at what she does. She's they made history in the recent World Cup, and so yeah, I think, I don't know, someone who's made history, I think has to be kind of at the forefront. And I'd say Miguel Herrera as well. Again, I know I've talked about him before tonight, but I'd say Herrera has had a really, really great year as well.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was thinking about it because I was thinking maybe Piojo would be up there, but now the more I think about it, I think it would be Vergara for me too. So I think that I'll go with that as well. Because other than that, like, I mean, you think about some of the other options, and it's been difficult for them to have consistent success throughout all of 2018, whether it be Siboldi whether it be someone like an Osorio, whether it be someone like
Almeida.
Almeida. It's hard to find those coaches with that consistent success. So I think I was thinking with Piojo, but I'm gonna go with Vergara as well after what she did the U17 World Cup, which I think was extremely impressive. We never.
I think we won't find like a coach that has broken any barriers as much as Mike Vergara. I think it's like the most amazing choice. So maybe not the most popular one, but it should be like the one that's most worthy of the award.
I'm going with the San Jose coach. What's his name? All right.
The winner is me. Caixinha.
Wait. That was the best one in the Mexican soccer show in 2018.
The winner is me.
No.
Caixinha, okay. But he won the Liga MX and he won this one, right? Right? I think that's how it was.
Sorry, that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Michael Angel Vasquez said he voted for Monica.
It's Woody. He opened one of his Christmas presents early. Oh my god.
This madness what happens.
That's why he's the winner.
What did he get? What did he get? Can you tell us what he got?
Ollie, do you want to show them what you got for Christmas?
Yeah.
Show them. What is this? Show them.
It's Woody.
Wow.
There you go.
Woody.
Dude, that's
It's
fantastic.
It's only a week early, huh? Yeah.
You go,
All
Ollie.
right. Nice. Roberto Cordova says quote of the night. Me. Definitely take that and put that on the video. All right. We'll go with Woody wins. Woody wins. Mexican best
you guys heard
Mexican
the answer though, right? You heard the answer,
wait.
right?
Yeah.
Caixinha.
Caixinha.
And then Monica Vergara was mentioned once, unfortunately, only once. But I agreed. I thought that she should have taken it technically.
So we're like erasing all the other votes.
Patiño, Piojo,
Patiño made it.
I swear it wasn't me.
and then Juan Carlos Osorio got one.
Oh, there's that Ruben Omar Romano guy. Okay. All right. On the next one is Best Mexican Abroad.
You open this. You're not supposed to open it.
Now we got Amy's.
This is a wonderful insight into Amy's life right now.
Turning into a reality show over here.
We're all the true winners.
Amy,
Amy, who's that? Get him on the show.
Get him to present the next award.
Get him to present the next award. Do it.
Is it Best Mexican Abroad?
I mean, Chucky Lozano would.
Yeah, I feel like it
has to be Chucky Lozano.
No room for Giovanni Dos Santos?
Mark Fabian.
Briseño.
I do wonder though if like 4 months down the line, if we're going to be talk about Jimenez as like a potential candidate as the best Mexican abroad. I think Chucky is still the easy leading candidate here. But I think maybe down the line Jimenez might get at least somewhat close. But I think without a doubt by some distance right now it's Chucky.
Yeah, I've put down Herrera because I think his consistency. We know now what we're getting from him week in, week out. I think he's kind of got that this year. Because previously, I think he's dipped in his form at certain moments for his club. But I think now with Herrera, he's kind of hit that level. And obviously, he had a good World Cup. This is on my notes here. I put Jimenez will be in the mix if he keeps up this form. Yeah. I mean, if he the last couple of months, if he keeps that up, then I think in 12 months' time we'll be looking at Jimenez, and there'll be, the only thing, and not to be negative here, but I'd like a bit more competition. I mean, it's so obvious that it's Irving Lozano, no, but I'd like at this point, to be saying, for Chicharito to be in there, for Herrera, for Tecatito, for Ochoa, for Lozano basically to have a little bit more competition. I think if there's one kind of thing that Mexican football needs in 2019, and then what we've been talking about, Edson Alvarez, Diego Lainez, potentially moving to Europe. I mean, it'd be great if those Europe-based players, if a few more players go over there, but also the ones that are in Europe start really, really impacting the teams. So I don't know. That's what I'd like to see in 2019.
Keep it on. Also, just really quick, Carlos Salcedo. I know it's kind of hard for him to really shine when he's a defensive player, but he's already back from his injury, and it looks like he's already doing quite well with Eintracht Frankfurt. And I think if you're, and he wasn't really taking part in the Europa League, obviously because of his injury. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were to re-register him for the knockout round if he really does well there too. So I think that, yeah, he's not on the same level perhaps as a Jimenez or Chucky, but I think at the very least it does look like Carlos Salcedo is going to be having a decent season over there in Europe.
Yeah, not to say that defenders can't. I mean, look at Rafa Marquez, who's had the best Mexican abroad award for so many years. So we can say that. But yeah, I would say Chucky Lozano easily, just for the year that he had. And I'm kind of ditto with that, Tom. I would like to see the others kind of be there in the running. Chicharito had the best month last month, I would say.
Yeah,
but it's like 1 out of 12.
So hey, so he had the best month out of all of them. So we'll see where that goes. Amy, are we there, or will who wins the
Did they open any more presents while you've been away?
No, I got reinforcements to show up as well. So they're manning the presents now. You ready?
Go ahead. Who wins?
Ready? Chucky Lozano by a landslide.
El
who are the other ones?
Chucky Lozano.
Jimenez was Guardado was a close second, followed by Jimenez. Somebody wrote America, not quite sure why.
Someone wrote Romano.
Hector Herrera was also mentioned. Ochoa, Sharin Corral got a shout out, and Chicharito.
Oh, interesting.
Charlene
choice.
Corral.
Of course, Charlene. Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah.
All right. Mexican Player of the Year.
I mean, I feel like the Mexican abroad and the Mexican Player of the Year might go hand in hand, and that Mexican abroad, who has done quite well, also scored such a crucial goal for Mexico in the World Cup. Also got an assist. I think it has to be, but easy Lozano again.
Yeah.
All right, we ready? You ready?
Yes.
Chucky Lozano.
This is for Giovanni Dos Santos. He didn't get any award so far this whole match. Tragos amargos for Giovanni.
Yeah. I mean, just quickly with the Sharin Corral thing there. I mean, I think she would have been in the picture, to be honest. But obviously, with what happened in the World Cup qualifying, I think that's completely. I mean, top scorer in Spain. It's a massive achievement.
Yeah.
But I just feel that, obviously with what happened in qualifying and not making the World Cup, I mean, it's not her fault, like kind of on her own. But I mean, it kind of dampens that her kind of candidacy, and also Kenty Robles as well. I mean, playing Atletico Madrid, champion over in Spain. I mean, these are things that should be noted at least. Again, because the women's team didn't qualify for the World Cup, it's difficult to kind of give them an individual award. Mm-hmm. But I'd point out those two as kind of outstanding candidates on the women's side.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and I think I'd go if I was to say number 2 to Lozano, I think I'd go Herrera.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Who did you guys say would be your number 2 player in the World Cup?
Ochoa? No.
I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't know.
I mean, was it that far away that?
Maybe
I'd go Herrera or
Ochoa was
Guardado.
second in these votings.
I wouldn't say he was a player of the year, but I would say Ochoa impressed me a lot in the World Cup. So I think Ochoa might be my second. Yeah.
And how much was Guardado not being really present after the World Cup? Because, I mean, after the World Cup, so it's kind of funny how it's just like after the World Cup we just kind of go. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I mean, Guardado and Herrera. I think because we know what we expect from them, and we know what we're going to get. Where I think from other players, you don't know. Like with Irving Lozano, we didn't know what his reaction would be, to go into Holland. We didn't know how he'd react to be playing in a World Cup. You know what I mean? And I think that when you're getting those answers for the first time, you kind of, I don't know, I think mentally, maybe subconsciously, it kind of, you over exaggerate a little bit what they've achieved. But with someone like Guardado and Herrera, they've been at the World Cup, we know what they can do, and they did it. You know what I mean? And they achieved what the standard that we expect of them.
All right, and the last category of the night that we have, Amy had to go. Oh no, she's back. Here we go. The Mexican soccer moment of the year. I can't think of another one. Probably one of the best Mexican moments ever, I would think, was Chucky Lozano scoring on Germany, giving us
The only Mexican
that.
soccer moment that actually made an earthquake in Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Yeah.
Definitely rivaled up there with the great goals that we've had before. So, anybody else rival anything else?
The only thing, I mean, the final whistle of the Germany game. I mean, being there in the stadium. I mean, obviously the goal was amazing, but then there was so much tension after that. I mean, we saw, Amy, I think you were there. I mean, that tension after the goal, and it all kind of like Mexico ahead, and then it was like you thought, but Germany are going to come back. They're going to equalize, and then they're going to push for a winner. But then to get to the 90th minute and the atmosphere when that final whistle went, it's something that you don't forget. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable, and to see the Mexican fans who had traveled, so far to be there for such a moment. I mean, I don't know if the goal was the best moment or the final whistle, to be honest.
Final whistle. Yeah, I mean, I guess as you put it back, I mean, Cesar and Adriana, to you guys, was it the goal or the final whistle that Mexico beat was, I guess, the best moment? And I get it, Tom. It was better. I would think that the winning, but I guess as far as the moment of joy, because we didn't think it was going to happen when we were watching it. If you're there or if you're on TV, the fact that we were up 1-0 to Germany, to the world champions. This is before anybody thought Germany wasn't even going to be that good. And then it's Chucky Lozano who we've been saying this is the time for him to step up. I felt like at that moment, because it was so unexpected to where I'm living there at the 80th, but I could see it. Adriana and Cesar?
I mean, I think what I go back to is, I mean, I just go back to like I don't know, there are certain videos that when I'm feeling like bummed out about about soccer, about life, blah blah, that I just like go back on YouTube and I immediately Google them, just like make myself feel a little bit better. Like certain soccer.
I'd love to have that playlist. I'd pay to see that playlist.
The soccer related
Please
videos.
share, yes.
There's a soccer. It's just the soccer related one, right?
Other than that, it's just the Smiths. It's just like 4 hours.
That's our sad moment soccer list.
But no, but it used to be the Gio goal. Like I used to like watch that like over and over. I've lost track of the amount of times I used to watch that like Gio goal. But now like sometimes I would catch myself and be like, you know what? I need to like watch that like Chucky goal. So like that by far, and like that thing is like that's not even like the moment for me for like 2018. That was like the moment for me. I don't know, like.
In my life.
No, not my life. But the last few years, it even surpasses that goal from Paul Aguilar against the United States. Like that surpassed that for me. But I think.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, it has to be that goal.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Chucky Lozano's goal or the win versus Germany. Same thing.
Yay!
Chicharito from Awardados. Here he comes. Hernandez leads it. Lozano cutting, looking, shooting. Lozano, goal! Mexico leads.
Yeah, there it is. Mexico win. Mexico.
Is that another lawsuit for us?
Some of the funny mentions were, or not funny mentions, but somebody said Edson's 2 goals. That was obviously after the final.
Soccer moment of the year.
Somebody said Puma 6-1 loss. Somebody said the U17 getting second place. Somebody said Tigres beating Toronto. This was my favorite one though. This one was submitted December 11th, and they said Cruz Azul winning the title. Oh wait, this is my second favorite one. My second favorite one was Cristante choking.
What was it?
Cristante choking Piojo. Somebody wrote that in the.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yep. All right, guys. Surprises at all? I mean, I mean, we kind
Well,
of.
Ollie definitely did have a surprise.
Yes, me. Saying that's all, guys. All right, thank you. First, I want to thank Amy. I know there was a lot of
Yeah.
work putting all this together with the Survey Monkey and all this
Big
stuff.
time. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks,
You're
Amy.
welcome.
Amy.
I have to go check now, make sure no Christmas presents were open.
This is what happens. It's the sacrifices that you give, Amy. Thank you so much for jumping on.
You're
And,
welcome.
and all of you guys, thank you for being patient and the technical difficulties we had from the very beginning with the sound that I didn't know it was playing. It wasn't playing in my headphones and all of that, the other sounds in the internet. I want to thank all of you guys that are stuck with us almost for 2 hours. With this, it's been a great year, a World Cup year, the highs and the lows. But the one thing that we all know is that Mexican soccer keeps going, and it doesn't stop. And as long as it's there, we'll continue to give you guys, at least our
Moments to add to your playlist, Caesar. Don't worry.
Yes, we'll do that.
Yeah, there you go.
Really quick, what's coming for 2019? Don't worry, Cesar. How many days until the Liga MX starts all over again?
We have to wait a full 18 days. If you guys can survive that, the full 18 days before the start of the next season. There's a hip hop documentary that my friend recommended. I think I'm gonna watch that. I think I'm gonna rewatch the entire just all this seasons of The Office and rework my power rankings of the characters on The Office. It's a very, very controversial.
Creed, number
ranking.
1. Creed.
What was no? It's definitely Dwight. Dwight's number 1.
Creed. I would go
Dwight
with
by
Creed.
far is number 1. We have to rework that. Keep it on that.
Let us know.
This is what happens to me when I'm not watching soccer.
It's quite funny because when we see each other, we so insist that have different tastes. Let's say no. Let's not get into music or beer or stuff like that.
Cesar and I are very, very different.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
They love each other, but they're definitely very different.
We fight about everything. We're completely different. Yeah. The one thing we know is that there we were. I'm sure, playing for Mexican national teams. It's 2 weeks, a little bit off. We'll have a show right before the the season starts. I think it's on the 3rd or the 4th, the Thursday before. So definitely we'll start to preview that season. It's already there. Tom, what are you gonna do in these 18 days with no Mexican soccer, which means no work?
18 days. I don't know really. Being Guadalajara mainly.
I was thinking of how Maradona couldn't answer a question after the game. He was like,
I was gonna say heavy booze, but then I thought probably not. Probably shouldn't say it, but it'd be good.
It's a show for the ages. The word Pornhub was mentioned. It's okay.
It's almost 2 hours into the show too. I can't believe it's crazy, man.
I can't believe that 19
good to have a little break. To
watching.
be honest, it'd be good to have a little break and chill out, watch some other leagues. You know what I mean? I don't know, and kind of be a bit less intense in the work and be not traveling around as much. You know what I mean? It's all good, the traveling and all that, but it's good to kind of be in the same place for a few weeks and just be chilling out and play a bit of PlayStation.
Yeah,
see, that's FC. I'll be there.
Ooh, we gotta get that friendly against Chilaquiles FC, Tom. We're rebranded. We rebranded. We're Chilaquiles FC now.
My team, Michelada FC, is coming in to play now. One day.
Anyway, I'm going.
Tom, thank you so much.
Time.
I'm sure it's about that time. See you later, Tom. Adriana, what are you going to be doing for the next 2 weeks?
I'm hoping I get a classic Nintendo for Christmas, so I'll be playing that in case I do get it.
The NES, like the
like the one that has Dr. Mario, and Mario can only go one way in the screen. That's the one. Yeah.
Well, that's the Atari because the Dr. Mario was
it was like a Tetris kind of thing. No.
Tetris. All right. I see. The regular NES.
The little tail, like the raccoon tail.
Nice. Well, that was Mario 2, right? No, Mario 3. That was Mario 3 with the raccoon
tail. It was 3. Yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll be enjoying some time off. So I know that there's going to be lots. 2019 is going to be again a great year for Mexico. There's 5 games that are already coming up. I think San Diego was already mentioned in March. I know Dallas. For you guys who are still watching, I hear there's Atlanta and also the 49er Stadium over there in San Jose. And there's one more that they're trying to. So keep an eye out. I'll try to see if I can get all 5 games. And then we have Gold Cup. On top of that, keep an eye, obviously, the Women's World Cup. I think that's going to be very, very exciting to see how that happens. And I see Mexican, the women's team also. Mexican women's team will be playing some games against important people in friendlies. I think the U.S. was already mentioned on the women's side.
Yeah,
Mexico versus U.S.
It's amazing how the U.S. gets to announce everything that Mexico is doing before Mexico actually does.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we're
there's
playing.
also
I
lots of
think
stuff.
it's May or something. I
Yeah.
think it's before the World Cup.
Cool.
Sadly.
So lots of stuff. Good to have a couple of weeks off. So guys, thank you so much for staying, and for all of you guys, Sitsi Lou, Luis Martinez, Francisco Velasco, Roberto Cordova, Eldan the Man, all of you guys that have stayed to this long. And if you're listening still on the iTunes podcast, thank you. That's quite the on the fan side. So
The achievement.
Thank you so much. And I'll let Mr. Cesar close us out for 2018. We'll see you guys in 2019. Cesar?
I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who's watched our episodes, who follow us on Twitter, who read our articles, who read all of our content. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So it's just a huge thank you to all of you. And hopefully we'll have a very exciting 2019 in Mexican soccer.
There we go. All right, guys. See you all next year.